Welcome back. We shift gears now to far away. Is it that far? Okay, this is West African sub-region, Dakar, Senegal. Our correspondent Kela Megwa joins us. Kela, you've been monitoring what's going on. It's like a new dawn in the horizon. Bring us up to speed. As a result being called, what exactly is happening where you are?
Good morning. The results have not been called, but there is the clear winner based on, based on the feelers out there. And we've seen other candidates concede defeat to Basiru Diomaye Diakafaye. And it's one of those situations where an outsider is coming into politics, and listening to many young people in the country and, of course, outside the country as well. There's a sense that they want a new, they want someone who's not a part of the system. That, I think, was the fuel behind the push, especially for the massive young population of Senegal to vote in this direction. So we're seeing feelers here that there is a clear winner. Remember, it's 19 candidates. So one of the issues everyone had was we're thinking about how it was going to be possible for someone to have 50% of the votes. We've seen that 19 people were vying for the same office, and we just had 7.3 million registered voters, both home and abroad. We saw earlier, diaspora voting is allowed here. So it was one of those situations where we thought, there was going to be some kind of runoff because, to get a clear winner with everyone contesting for that office. But apparently, with everything that's happening, we're supposed to hear from the Constitutional Council. That's the body that will announce the winner of the election. So we're supposed to hear from them at least by the end of today, hopefully. Everyone is watching to see if that happens. But yeah, jubilation. Even from Sunday night, young people on the streets excited, celebrating the victory of Basiru Faye, and watching all of that unfold. At first, Amadou Ba, who's the preferred candidate, sort of like the successor of President Macky Sall, had said celebrations were premature. But with time, he decided to concede. So he called Mr. Faye yesterday and conceded, to him, basically congratulating him for winning that election. So it's pretty much a done deal. But of course, the official body has to announce before any formal statement can be made on that.
Now, Kayla, resting on the supposition that even with 19 candidates, nothing is about to change and the Electoral Commission will be announcing a result. Tell us, from what you have observed, how widespread is the jubilation in Kenya? And that's a way of also asking, in Senegal. And that's a way of also asking what it's like in the camp of the ruling party.
Very interesting. The ruling party has been in power for quite a while. And like I said earlier, this is a vote for the outsider. Mr. Faye is the tax collector, and he is the preferred candidate of the opposition. So basically, the opposition, the PANTEF, I think that's what it's called, the PASTEF party, led by Usman Soko. Mr. Soko was jailed for various allegations, and that actually caused an uprising a few years ago in the country. And then Mr. Faye, used to work with him, and he was actually the former Secretary General of the party and also the co-founder of the now dissolved PASTEF party. So he also had to go to jail. He was also arrested for several allegations, including defaming the government, defaming a government institution. So he was also in jail initially. In fact, he was released just 14 days to the election. So there has been an uprising already in the country as a result of these arrests. A few weeks to the election, the government decided to release over 700 political prisoners. And 2 weeks to the election, Mr. Faye was released from jail as well. So he had less time to campaign than the other, the other people who were vying for the top job in the country. But of course, with everything that has happened, remember that these elections were postponed at some point, were cancelled, and that affected the legacy really of outgoing president now Macky Sall. And that basically was an uprising from the young people of the country, wanting something different. Mr. Faye is coming on a different note. He wants to change the currency. He also wants to involve a lot of English speaking, because here they speak a lot of Wolof and French. He wants to be able to, he's a Pan-Africanist. In fact, I was looking at something about his history. He's actually one of those left-wing cheerleader types, you know, for Pan-Africanism, like the historian Sheikh Anta Diop. That's his hero. You know, that's someone that he looks up to. So he's coming, you know, with an idea to strengthen political and judicial independence, creating jobs, which is a big issue here in Senegal. And of course, as a Plan B candidate, he has a massive monkey on his shoulder, and he has his job cut out for him from day one. You know, uniting this country, bringing them back to that stable democracy. Remember, Senegal is the only country in West Africa, at least the only country in West Africa, that has never had a coup, never had a military coup. So it's considered one of the strongest democracies in the region. That reputation took a beating with outgoing President Macky Sall trying to extend his stay in office.
Right.
But releasing those prisoners and the elections holding, these are all good things that have happened in recent times. And, you know, we'll be watching to see if Mr. Faye will be able to resolve all the issues that are on ground.
Absolutely. Kayla, interesting one. But let's just end on this note. A lot of people want to know, is there an exact time when the result will be called? I mean, on the other side, how are you exploring the culture in Senegal? What has been your high points, really?
Everyone keeps talking about this rice. No, thank you. I think I'll go Nigerian for now. Thank you very much. Hope they don't cancel me for doing that. But you know, so the culture and the place is a very creative space. Crime and criminality here is basically petty crime. You know, so they don't have kidnappings and banditry and things like that, but petty crime. You know, and that comes from a massive youth population that is unemployed. You know, so it's a very cultural place, mostly Muslim. It's a Muslim country in many ways, although on Palm Sunday, I did see them distributing palms in front of the Catholic Church near the ECOWAS Secretariat. But, you know, massive Muslim country, family values, very traditional people, lots of coffee everywhere. You know, it's a very, I mean, it's 18 million people. 18 million people, and most of them very trusting. At least that's one of the things I noticed, very trusting in their attitude to things. People leaving money on the counter and, you know, expecting you to still be standing there when they come back. Very different, you know, but very, very loving group of people.
Kayla, if you do not want their jollof, you evidently are falling in love with other aspects of Senegal. And if we left you, you just keep going on and on. But we'll come back to you as soon as there is anything in the offing about the results being announced.
Will that be today, by the way? Kayla, will the results come in today?
We're hopeful.
All right.
Hope that it should be announced today, yes.
All right, our correspondent there, Kayla Megwa, reporting on Senegal's just concluded presidential election. And we'll be back with Kayla later on.